Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to another review here on Pez of the Mind. This is an Origins, and this is for the new Netflix adaptation of the old 80s cartoon She-Ra entitled She-Ra and the Princesses of Power.
Yep, Netflix and DreamWorks is worth mentioning because it's DreamWorks made it.
And DreamWorks. With me is Chris the Mole, obviously.
Yep, hello.
So I've never watched the original She-Ra, so I didn't really have a point of reference for this. So I just kind of went into this as if it were a new show, other than knowing a couple of the characters' names.
I thought you had.
No, the only thing of She-Ra I had seen is that He-Man She-Ra Christmas special that we reviewed a couple years ago.
Yeah, I know you did that, so I thought you might have at least had some experience with her.
No, not really.
However, I will say this dramatically changes it, but it modernizes it in a good way. It works.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the pilot is two parts. They're 24 minutes each if you're going to check out the pilot. And effectively, it's the story of a young girl named Dodora, who is actually one of the top officers for the Horde, who was taken in by them when she was found as a baby, but discovers through the events of the pilot that the Horde are actually evil. They're actually called the Evil Horde, and she didn't even know that. And she befriends a princess and an archer who is her friend, and ends up finding a magic sword and discovering that she may be the chosen one to become the legendary She-Ra, which is a warrior of the was it the first ones? Did they call them?
Yeah, the first one. So it's worth noting they're not called the Evil Horde. As he mentioned, everyone else calls them that, but that's not what they call themselves.
Yeah, they just call themselves the Horde.
Yep.
That's what they had that interaction. It's like, well, who calls us the Evil Horde? Everybody.
Yeah. I did like that. I will mention her friends, the male friend.
The archer?
Yeah, he reminds me of Sokka.
Yeah, I can see that.
From Avatar.
Yeah, yes, he does.
I'm like, okay, it's cool because she's now got a friend and they're all different races. And they're all so it's more inclusive than the previous She-Ras.
Yeah. But now here comes the ultimate question, though. Which is the more effective weapon? The bow and arrow or Mr. Boomerang?
A bow and arrow.
That's fair.
And I love the fact he does some tricks and stuff with it, and this like uses a net when they're falling down and catches himself and wraps up her friend / villain at once, because that's a great story too of the two friends.
Yeah, Catra.
Like you kind of wanted to save her friend.
Yeah.
And the one in charge is just pure evil.
Yep.
Which that's cool. And yeah, like I said, it's more inclusive than the old She-Ra. It's different to the old She-Ra. But at the same time, like I said, with it being inclusive and modernized it, and it feels like while the last ones didn't have too much of a plot.
Mm-hmm.
I feel this one has a plot, and it's more heroic, and it's more about doing the right thing. And the animation's beautiful, so I'm impressed with what they've done to modernize this.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, not really being familiar with the original. I did like how they seem to have a lot of interesting equality on the show. Where they have the balance of the villains are totally evil. She grew up with them. There's some another side to them that you have to consider. I like that they had the idea that the the princess that she befriends. Unlike the character of Adora herself, who is drawn how you would expect. A young woman in a cartoon to be drawn. The princess is actually drawn more like a realistic girl and has realistic proportions as opposed to that like Barbie form. And I thought that was cool. They did that. And also the idea that she's a general, but her mother's the queen, doesn't trust her to actually do general stuff. That was a great story.
I also love her transformation because when she transforms and she's got the glow and the hair's like a completely different blonde and the way it glows, it looks more impressive than the original She-Ra transformation, in my opinion. It looks like this is an actual transformation and cool.
Yeah. And I like that only when she's She-Ra can she effectively wield that sword, because anytime she or anybody else picks it up outside of that, it like weighs a freaking ton. Then to try to lift it with two hands.
Yep, or it doesn't weigh that much because the other one carries it on her back a lot.
That's true.
But it's just hard.
Not heavy, but unwieldy.
Yeah.
That's a very large sword.
Like you have the other princess friend has the ability, has like the realization of maybe she should trust her and come and has like the upset of all the stuff that her Horde had done for her, so she's learning to accept, which is a good story.
Yeah.
We'll say the one weakness I don't like is her friend's powers.
Oh, the energy powers that she has to recharge?
Because she has the power to teleport and do almost anything she wants, but then when the plot is convenient, has to recharge. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be a plot so many times. If she's used her powers now, oh, now she's going to have to recharge, so they can't do that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's too convenient, if that makes sense. But I still like the character that she is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a great character. One thing that I was wondering, again, not knowing the backstory, is when they found, like she finds a sword and then they find like the She-Ra base or whatever, and she speaks to her, the computers and they turn on, and they talked about the first ones. I'm like, is this going to be one of those things where it's a reboot that they tie in as a sequel? Like, where the first ones were the original, like Eternia, He-Man, and She-Ra from the original cartoon?
It might be, but I don't think it is because they kept calling it a reboot. So I'm thinking it's just going to be a full reboot.
Fair enough.
But it might be, to be fair. Now, one thing I did love as well is I loved her reaction to the horse.
It's the most glorious thing I've ever seen.
Just because, and it is true, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but a lot of little girls like horses and ponies. So in a adaptation like this, one of the things a lot of people would do is feel, oh, we're making her so strong, we can't play up any of the girly elements because it'll undo it. And a lot of times when they do that, I feel like they make them more mannish than what they should be. I don't mean that in a negative way, but I mean they try and eliminate all the things that make them a girl.
Yeah.
Usually when a guy's writing it, and that's normally bad. This one, she's still strong, she's still powerful, but when she sees a horse, she's like, oh, it's so majestic, and she gets all nervous patting it and stuff, which is great. It's like it's like little boys when they see cars, like, oh my god, that's a cool car.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, that's a cool car.
Yeah. And I don't like how they went through the whole, eventually they get to the very end, they're walking away, they got the horse and everything, and then I like how the archer just then it's like, wait, whose horse was this?
Yep. Which that was great. I haven't seen the rest of the series yet. I will do eventually. I'm just not going to watch it yet.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's the horse that's going to transform into her wing Pegasus thing.
That's what I was thinking. Which it's like I said, yeah, it's a great little card, and like I said, the animation style looks very anime-ish, meets Flash cartoon, but not in a bad way. Like, as much as I love Teen Titans Go, you know I love that. That Flash animation does look cheap compared to a lot of cartoons. This does look like it blurs the lines between computerly done Flash cartoons like that and hand-drawn classic or anime-ish looks, and like merge them together. And I like that look.
Yeah, I can agree. It looks really good. I like it.
Yep.
And I did like how they, like I said, not knowing much about the character of Catra, I did like how she was sympathetic, where like she lost her friend. And she was just, realized that Adora just, like, wait, you've been gone from the Horde for like a day and you're going to completely turn on us? What the hell, Adora? We found you and fucking raised you. You're my best friend. What are you doing?
Yep. Now, I will admit, her friend, when she told her they're evil, and her friend's like, well, yeah, that's what she does. She manipulates people, duh. It's kind of like, really? Really? I do hope she manages to save her friend, but I have a feeling her friend's going to just be a villain.
Yeah, probably. Oh, I did like, it took me a while until she like met the princess and started having this conversation. It took me a while because, again, not being familiar with the original show, to realize she was on the evil side. And it struck me in the opening scenes where she's there with Catra and they're talking, and then like that teacher lady with the shadow power comes in, and I'm like, you look really evil, and I feel like this is a weird situation. Like, why are they not reacting to you looking really evil? And then I realized later, oh, it's because that is the evil side and she just doesn't know. Oh, okay, that makes more sense then.
To be fair, people not reacting to people who look extremely evil and yet somehow are surprised when that person turns out to be evil. Where are we going?
That is true.
I'm sorry, like most Disney films, there's clearly, like, everyone's normal and there's someone who looks like a cross between like Waluigi and like fucking Scar normally, and then obviously Scar is not, but you know what I mean, where he's all like hideous and evil and stuff, and then they're like, oh, he's nice, we can trust him. I mean, he betrays him. What? You're evil? You, the guy who's always in shadow, cackling? No, not you. No.
Never. No. That is
And you're
true.
like, of course he's evil.
And then they started figuring that out. Nobody thought that Hans was evil in Frozen.
Yep.
That's because I don't think he was meant to be when they wrote the first half of the movie.
To be fair, wasn't Elsa supposed to be evil?
That was the original plan, yeah, because the Snow Queen is
they
evil
wrote
in the original story, yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyway, yeah, so it's this is a really great series. If I'm gonna rate the pilot, I'm gonna throw it a nice strong 8.5 to 9 out of 10. It's a great show. I'd say it's generally better if you're familiar with the original She-Ra, but that is not required. Having not seen it, I still really enjoyed the show even without that familiarity. But I do think it would add to it if you have it. But it's a really enjoyable show. The animation is great. The characters are great. There's a lot of good representation here. It seems like they're setting up for a really good backstory-driven adventure.
Yep, I agree. I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs up. I like the pilot. I'll actually, because ironically I'm familiar with the original, but I will say I'm gonna go the opposite of that and just say it's good for anyone regardless, because it's brand new, so you don't need to see the original. But I know they've made a lot of changes, and it's to an 80s property, and it's towards progression and stuff like that, and it works. But I do feel a lot of some people watching it will just be like, boo, but they changed everything. I want my She-Ra. It's not my She-Ra. So you know what I mean? I feel like that will happen. Yeah. I like what they did. It's a great show, and it's aimed for modern kids. That's what people need to remember, and it works.
It is. All right. So, Mole, thank you for joining me. This has been a look at She-Ra. Stay tuned. Tomorrow we're going to be giving a preview for our Disney trip, so join us for that. We'll chat up about that. And then join us for a series of reviews while we're in Disney as we talk about each of the parks.
Yep.
See you then, folks. Peace.